I decided to take a little break, but I'm back to making videos. Um, yeah, so my husband has been taking some old VHS tapes and transcribing them into DVDs. So I found a bunch of old VHS tapes that I had in my car that I sort of forgot about. I'm like, oh, you can make DVDs out of these. So I took them out just out of curiosity. I started watching them. One of them was a mock interview. It was a mock interview of my father in the 80s, like this black and white mock interview. Of my husband and I both found that very entertaining. And one of my Sweet 16, and yeah, my Sweet 16, my mother was relatively in the background. I didn't really see too much of her in that video, which is kind of surprising considering the one I found of my third birthday party that I watched. So, well, my Sweet 16, I guess I had too much personality of my own, and it would have been too obvious if she tried to, like, hog the spotlight there, but anyway, so I watched this video of my third birthday party, which I'd never seen before. Um, so it basically was at a restaurant, and, my father was there, and extended family members, and I was unwrapping gifts, whatever toys were in at the time, like Rainbow Bright doll, or I don't know, like toys that were popular back then, and my mom's just sitting there, she's like, oh, wow, yeah, wow, that's great, she really likes it, yeah, oh, this is great, and then my husband even said, God, every word out of her mouth sounds so fake. And this was basically 30 years ago, 29 years ago, and, she hasn't changed for shit. And, my father apparently was on garbage duty. Basically anybody that unwrapped wrapping paper, and it's like, oh, give all the garbage to Uncle Steve, So my dad was on garbage duty. And, a couple of things that really got me livid. I mean, there was a kind of a theme throughout the video of my father kind of being like the whipping boy or the bitch boy, and she was like the dominating boss in charge. But a couple of things got me really livid, and kind of goes to show you how, as a small child, how she saw me. And, she, obviously they were videotaping it, and she pointed the video camera at me. Keep in mind, this was the day I turned 3, so a day before that, a week before that, I was still 2. So, you can't really blame me for not knowing what was going on. She's pointing the camera at me, she's like, Lisa, say hi, or Lisa, do this, Lisa, do that, and I was just sort of, like, standing there or looking around, or, like, I didn't really have an idea that I was being taped, and I didn't really know what the hell was going on. And then she starts snapping, she's like, Lisa, turn around. And then I turn around, but I'm just sort of staring at her. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And then she called my name again. She's like, Lisa! And she started snapping her fingers at me. I'm not even kidding. Lisa! Like, snapped it, almost like I'm a dog and she's trying to train me. And she was getting very angry that I wasn't performing on command. Well, I just turned 3 that day. Like, I don't know, maybe I am autistic and I just don't know it, I don't know, but something tells me that most 3-year-olds wouldn't really know how to respond in that situation. And then she puts there's this big sheet cake that she puts in front of me, and there's flowers on the cake, and she puts it right in front of me, and I'm 3, so what am I going to do? I'm going to pick the flowers off the cake. Again, maybe it's not normal, I don't know, maybe something is wrong with me, but I was picking off the edible flowers and like, starting to eat them, and then my mom kept saying, like, move, move. It's like a 3-year-old kid, could you imagine? I'm picking the flowers, and she's trying to cut the cake, and she's acting like she can cut the cake. Like, I'm sitting on one side, and she's on the other. She could have cut half the sheet cake with me sitting there. But then she yells over to my father, the bitch boy, whipping boy. Steven, I need you to take her to the bathroom, because I got work I gotta do here. What a miserable, nasty bitch of a woman. Like, again, it's like I'm like a dog that's getting in the way of the cake, that I'm eating the cake and I'm not, like, take her out of here, take her to the bathroom. I got work at it, it's like, oh no, bitch, you could have cut half the cake with me sitting there. Like, it's like, I think she was frustrated because I wouldn't perform on cue 10 minutes earlier. And then, Steven, take her to the bed. Like, I noticed a thing too throughout the video of her barking orders at my dad. And if I would have said something to her about that, she would have been like, well, he's a lazy sack of shit. I have to treat him that way. He's a drunk. I have to treat him that way. He's lazy. He's this. He's that. Because I've said stuff like that in the past. That's always her justification. And if I said, well, you were a nasty bitch to me, and it was my third birthday, she'd probably been like, oh, well, your father this and your father that. You know, they always deflect blame. It doesn't even have to make sense. But after seeing that, I wanted to drive over there and give the fucking bitch a bloody nose. But, you know, since I'm no contact now, like, why waste my time, right? But, you know, and then fast forward to 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when we were looking at wedding venues, she's doing the whole woe is me single mom thing. She's asking the people at the wedding venues, if how many bridal attendants there are, or if there's going to be a bridal attendant, which she was just bringing it up to get pity so she could tell them she's a single mom, because what venue doesn't have a bridal attendant or maitre d'? Like, that's just retarded. So she's like, oh, because I'm a single mom, and I don't have a husband to help me, and I don't have a And at the time, I thought, she's just bringing that up because she wants to get pity. Like, well, first of all, she acts like she's the only single mom in America, and at her age, a lot of women are divorced, their husbands have died, you know, so don't cry for me, Argentina, you know, boo-hoo. Like every other woman in America is married to a millionaire her age. She thinks she's the only one, woe is her, you know. So I thought that was the main reason why she brought that up, and it probably was, but I even said to her, I'm like, what do you think is a husband's job? Especially if it's his daughter's wedding day. You think a husband's job is just supposed to take orders from his wife and let his wife bark orders at him and be the little bitch boy? You really think that that's what wives do to their husbands on their kid's wedding day? And she said, she's like, that's mean, you know, like, I'm out of line, but honestly, I got the proof right here now. Seeing a video from my third birthday party 30 years ago, that's exactly what she did. And it just proved that these people do not change for jack shit. And, you know, she's admitted in the past, like, she says she knows she's a bitch, which she does, and she's proud of it, and she likes causing people misery, but she uses the whole thing with my father and how she married a drunk, that it's like she never used to be that way. She used to be like Mother Teresa, but having to face adversity and fight her for herself as a single mom and be on her own, that made her tough. But, you know, it's just another bullshit, because it's narcissism to that degree is rooted way before she married my father, which was when she was in her late 20s. This has been going on for way longer than that. And the fact that there's evidence proof now of how she acted at my third birthday party, that she's always been that way, and blaming my father just doesn't make any sense. Well, I always knew that didn't make any sense, but, you know, she just refuses to acknowledge that she's the core problem, or that it could have roots in her upbringing, which she'll say is like the greatest upbringing and the greatest family in America, which I think she's hiding some major issues there, but, you know, it's always passed off on my father. But yeah, that video just, not only did it piss me off to the point where I wanted to, like, break every dish in the house, seeing how she treated me as a 3-year-old, which obviously you don't really remember stuff from that young, but seeing that, I was so livid. I just wanted to smash every dish in my house, or go over there and beat her up, but again, that's a waste of my energy. Yeah, but it just proved that these people never change, and they may blame recent circumstances for being the way they are, but it's all bullshit. You know, it's rooted early in life, and a lot of people, they choose that path from an early age because it benefits them in some way. So I didn't really see too many. I mean, the other videos I watched, one was a mock interview with my father, and one was my Sweet 16, which she was surprisingly absent from the video in. Probably because I was better looking than her at that point, but, you know. I wasn't a 3-year-old she could boss around anymore, and there were a lot more witnesses. So, that's just proof that she's always been a bitch, and I'll see you on the next video.